All right. I'm putting everybody's hands down. Again, as I just mentioned, there's a bug that causes the software sometimes not to read your keys. When that's the case, I'd say start your level, do a command or control copy of a letter from another part. Do that once, and it seems to fix it the rest of that particular level, that bit of code you're doing, and start it at each one of the little levels you do. We'll solve it. Now, right now we're just reviewing Burl, and then we're going to go on to peasants. We're going to try to get to lesson 3 here pretty quickly. So I'm not attacking Burl, that lesson, the endangered Burl. All right. Now, again, you're using if statements here. That's all you're doing. You're saying if the enemy type is Burl with the equal quote Burl quote quotation, you say this dot say I'm not attacking that Burl quotation in parentheses there. If it's an enemy type is Munchkin, attack it. If it's a thrower, attack it. If it's an ogre, go ahead and move XY, pick it back away from the ogre, back inside the village. Right? Whoops. Right there. Just tell it if it's an ogre, have it run in the village. Does that make sense? Raise your hand when you have that one done, or if you've done it in the past. Also, we have the PDFs up, so you can download the PDF. So if you're behind or ahead, you can just look at the code. Now, if all you ever do is look at our code and not try to figure it out yourselves, you're not going to get that much out of it. All right. Those people that are done, we'll go ahead and go on to the next one. I'm going to finish these folks up. Let's raise your hand. If you can't do it for whatever reason, you're on an iPad, whatever, you can't exit, raise your hand too, because we don't want to be sitting here waiting on you when you're never going to get done. Now, ideally, you've gotten somewhere and you can get it done. I'll give you this hint. I'm going to go back and show you. All right, let me pull it up here first so you can look at it, see if you can take a minute on how you think you might do it, and then take a look and see if you can do it. And then if you can't do it, take a look at what we did here. Ask me a question if you don't understand the parts of this. Because if all you do is type my code, you're not really getting as much out of it. All right? While people do that, let me go ahead. I'm going to call another location because we just figured out to solve that bug. So, all right? Hang on there. If you're already done, go on Edmodo, download the PDF for lesson 3. You can start looking at that now. All right? I'm going to go ahead and give me a moment. Okay, let's hit it again, folks. Raise your hand. Keep it up if you've gotten it through the Burl. I would hope by now you have. We're going to go on to the next one. All right? Well, I'm muted there. I'll mute you. Folks, I hope, raise your hand if you've done the Burl thing by now, so we can go on to the next. All right? And if you do, leave your hands up, folks. Don't put your hands down. Leave them up. I'll put them down for you. Just leave them up. Okay, Ryan. Hello, Jason. Like I said, is there an organ? It's ahead. I can't win on patrol duty. Windows, I'll get you set. We're going to get you set in a minute, guys, okay? I had to just notify the other class. I just notified the other class to fix that bug problem I was just speaking about, okay? So at this point, we're going to go ahead on here. What do you fix not being able to type? Do a command, copy, and paste of a letter. And believe it or not, once you do that, if you do that at every level, least for that level, it's never a problem again, is what we've been discovering. Is it okay to keep going? Yes, John, absolutely. Jason, let me see. I missed yesterday's webinar. What program is this? We're on 11:10. You're just going to have to go back. It was recorded, Anton. It was recorded Monday, okay? I'm stuck on Ogre Encampments. You said I think it's coming up. We'll do that one next. All right. Now, let me go here. I think that's after Thornberry Farm. Let's find it. All right, so let's start on this next one. Thornbush Farms. I'm going to go to lesson 3. Let me see if that's lesson 3 or lesson 4. That's lesson 4. That's lesson 2. All right, here we go. Lesson 3. All right. Now, Thornbush Farms, the correct code. This is, I was trying to do this the other day. It's really important. This is 4320 here, 4320 here. It's a little bit of a bug. All right. Aiden, I'm not sure why not. Try a letter, number, any copy or paste. Usually I find you can do that, buddy. Just move up to some other place where you typed. All right. See if that helps you there, Aiden. All right, now everybody else, let me go ahead. Okay. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Now, when you do the patrol village, let's just make sure in case you don't remember doing this. You're basically getting your person, go around to build fire traps to protect the people inside. Your knight's running around and he or she's running around protecting the people inside. What you don't want to have is the knight to put a fire trap down when a peasant walks up, or you'll blow up the peasant. Okay? So this bit of code asks the question. It's a loop. There's your two outs. There's your inside and outside bracket. First one, move 4350. Find the nearest enemy. If it's an enemy, build a fire trap. Go to the left. I made a left enemy. Find the nearest enemy, left enemy, build a fire trap. There's the X and Y. And then bottom enemy, go ahead, move to 4320 and build your fire trap 4320. I can't stress enough. Get that one dead on there. Raise your hands once you start to get it. All right. So raise your hands once you've got it. If you're working ahead and you can hear my voice and you've got it, raise your hand. That way I can know to go on to the next ones. Folks, what's really cool is when you get good at this, you can have little code duels and you can have your guys fight guys. Plus, you're on your way really to being able to make your own little simple game to entertain your friends and stuff. Get another friend, or if you like to tell stories, write a little story and build your game around it. I would get out, try again, get out of the program, try again, Aiden, and then try the copy and paste thing I was telling you. Plus, make sure, come on into it, start over on it, I would say, go back out, come back into it, and then where you can type some code, just simply copy and paste one little letter on that first line of code and put it to the right and paste it. And then it should work the rest of the way. All right. While he does that, I'm going to go ahead and try this. Folks, we're on Ogre Encampment now. Again, use your PDF. I'm unpaused it. Here we are looking at Ogre. That's the 9th one. You're doing a loop. You're saying this, find the nearest enemy, assign it to that variable called enemy. It's var for that variable. And really it assigns a bunch of information, location being one of the things, whether or not there's an enemy there, and it just says the first one. If there is an enemy there, attack it. This dot attack enemy. Else, attack the chest. All right, we got 8 of 14. Now, as far as Aiden says, my dude isn't attacking the ogres. John's saying it isn't attacking the ogres. Then I don't think it's finding the nearest enemy. Make sure you've got this attack enemy. And make sure you got a variable named enemy so it's finding it to attack it, okay? Now, when I put what you put in that says unexpected token, well, it must not be quite right here. There's a bracket here, bracket here. This is a semicolon. You've got a bracket out here and a bracket there. You got a container here, container there. I don't think you quite put everything. Yeah, you put one right up there as well. Yes, put them where we've got them on there, okay? Because this loop is a container. It's saying do everything inside this loop. And by the way, unless we tell the loop not to, it's just going to stay in there and run forever and ever. Yeah, in front of the peasants on Thornbush. You've got to use the code, Aiden. You know, it's got to be this code. If you get the PDF, it has to be right there, Aiden. 4320, 4320. If not, it'll blow them up. All right, so Aiden, take a look at that. Also down the PDF, you can find it there. If we've already done this, can we move on? Absolutely. Take the PDF and move on. But raise your hand to let me know that you're ahead on everything so we're not waiting for you. Yes, I have a PDF. I have a PDF on both sides, Aiden. I have a PDF on Edmodo. Download it and you'll be all set. Aiden, you can download it and look at the code on there. It will work. Raise your hand, folks, as you're coming along here. It's always a tough call, folks. I've got several of you that are getting way ahead. I've got people behind, so I'm trying to balance it. Patience and perseverance is important in this. I know it can be kind of crazy, but bear with me, all right? It's amazing that you guys, 5th and 6th graders, well, excuse me, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, excuse me, are coding. A lot of places aren't. Raise your hand once you have it, folks, because literally I'm waiting on you before I'll go on. All right, good. The else isn't working for John. Well, you have this dot attack, parentheses, quote, chest, capital C, H-E-S-T, lowercase t, capital quote, parentheses. Oh. Then go back to back. Where did we miss that? All right, I don't have back to back on this level. So you'll have to just go through and do back to back. I don't think I have it. And I can't bring mine up to finish it. No, Ryan, I don't believe so. Logic is logic on a computer. You have something that's different, Ryan, than mine. Plus, a lot of other people have done mine and it's worked for them. So that's, if we were the very first one, I could go, well, maybe there's a typo I've done on that. I know that's not what you want to hear, but this is a browser-based game. It doesn't matter if it's a Mac or PC, other than the keys you use. Let me see if I can get Code Combat to come back up for me. It wouldn't even let me log in a little while ago, which was really frustrating. See, it just says I don't have the email, which is absurd, since I'm, obviously getting all these things up here. All right. Good, you did it. Excellent, John. Well done. Okay, who else has it? How are we doing, Lauren? We haven't heard a word peep out of you. I hope you're doing okay. All right. Now. Okay. Back to back you move, so if you can do this for the Ogre Encampment, you can go back to back. Now, let's go on to Woodland Cleaver. All right? Here's the else one right there. But Ryan, download the PDF, you'll have it. Everybody right now, if you're doing it. Here it is. Now I want to move on to the next one because I got most everybody's done this. Okay? If you go on Edmodo, you can download the PDF that has every bit of this code. All right, now, in Woodland Cleaver, everybody, you're going to equip 2 new objects to equip. Sundial Wristwatch, Longsword. The object of the levels, use your new cleaving skill whenever possible to target a large group of enemies. How do we go about doing this? First things we want to check to see if we can cleave. I would say first thing we want to see if we have enemies. First thing first. All right? We want to find out if there's an enemy. Do we have an enemy? All right? We want to check to see if we can cleave. First things first, we want to check, is there an enemy? Is there an enemy? We want to check to see if we can cleave. Given the cooldown, we can only cleave once every seconds. What could you use to check? Well, we're going to use that in a second here. We're going to use set up if-else statements for this so that something happens if a condition is true and something else happens the condition is false. So what are our conditions on this? Everybody watch, please. And it's pseudocode. I'm writing out where, in plain language, it describes the steps in our code. This is just for us to think through it. Is there an enemy? If there's an enemy, check to see if you can cleave. If you can cleave, then cleave. If you cleave, then cleave. Otherwise, attack. Repeat this. Okay? That's what you're trying to do on this one. So, if this is ready, cleave. Cleave the enemy. Else, cleave isn't ready, just do your normal attack. All right, so move your guy, XY 2323. This is all going to go inside, and then the loop starts it off. Find the nearest enemy. Make sure you have an enemy. If this is ready, cleave. Else, attack. And you don't even have to have an if statement here because the enemy's there. Down the road, we're going to put an if statement on this. When you get this one, raise your hand. Let's talk about it. Again, first step, we get the guy to walk out or the girl to work out, whatever your night is. Then you got a loop. And there you have an enemy. Find the nearest enemy. If there is an enemy, cleave it if you can. Are you ready to cleave? That means you can then cleave the enemy. Else, if you can't cleave, then attack the enemy. So raise your hand once you have that. All right, we got a half of you. Raise your hand if you've already done this one or you're way ahead. Good job, folks. I think you're starting to finally get some of this. I did something else. Good. If you got it to work, go ahead. Just hang in there, folks. You are doing something special being able to code like this. Yeah, sometimes they've gone from type to self, and it really drives me a little bit crazy on that too. All right. Now let's go on to the next one, folks. If you go and check on scores, you can look at top players by damage taken. Now let's do shield rush. In there, you're going to get a shield. You get to equip that bad boy. The goal is less than similar to the one before, except this time cleave is not ready, shield instead of attack. It's really cool when it goes. The things all fall down. So, if this is ready, cleave. Just like we said, if there's an enemy, cleave. Else, use a shield. Now, what else do you need? To find what an enemy is, and then add something so our arrow checks continuously. If we're going to keep doing something over and over and over again, I hope you say, Mr. Dubik, that's a loop. Because that's what it would be. Again, our pseudocode. Is there an enemy? If there's an enemy, check to see if you can cleave. If you can cleave, then cleave. Otherwise, use shield, repeat. So, there's our loop, so it'll repeat over and over again. If we want things to repeat over and over again, we use a loop. Find the nearest enemy, see if there is one. If there is one, cleave it. If cleave is ready, because remember there's a time down, cleave it. Otherwise, use the shield. And when it works, the guy knocks everybody down at once. It's very impressive. So, see if you can do this without looking at it too much. How much can you do this without looking at it? All right. I'm going to see if I can load up lesson 1 and 2 for Michael here is asking. I'm going to go ahead and let me do that. All right. Michael, I uploaded that for you. It's on Edmodo now. Now, so that cleaved it. How many more people need a chance to, how many people have finished it? Go ahead, raise your hand if you got it. All right, let me see. Question. Maybe the screen isn't showing up now. Looks like we got a lot of questions here. That always makes me nervous. Sorry. There it goes. All right. Yay. All right. Hi. Well, Luke, you shouldn't be on. Luke, I don't think you should be on the dueling grounds yet. Luke, I don't think you should be on the dueling grounds yet. To answer that question, We're going to get you down the road. You got to learn through the rest of this. You need to be doing a lot more before you're doing the dueling grounds, unless you've done everything else. All right, raise your hands, folks. Let me know. It sounds like most people have gotten past this point. So raise your hands. Hope, are you there? Jason, are you there? Ryan, are you up at that point? John, I think you are. Caden, Cooper, let me know so I can move on. Or ask me some questions. Oh, that's the most frustrating thing. It's not loading up. We're just going to go ahead then. I'm going to move on if your guy isn't loading up just because it's not your fault. Mine said something about my password being wrong. All right, now, Shield Rush, you can kind of see where you are in that whole thing. Here is Peasant Protection. And in this, what you're going to do is you're going to stay near that peasant until this ogre gets too close by. So what we're going to use is find the nearest enemy and then the distance to that enemy. And because we've equipped with these new glasses, I jumped a little bit ahead here. Under Peasant Protection, you're getting these glasses. This gives you the distance to finding nearest enemy or finding the nearest item. All right? Ryan asked some questions. I'm not sure what your questions are, Ryan. It's glitchy even when I do not change anything from starting code. It says I need 4 spaces. I'm not sure you got 4 spaces over. You need to have everything under the loop to be just like this. Okay? Under if, it needs to be 4 over. Python's that way too, by the way. All right, now, happy to answer your question, Ryan. So that's what I guess I'm saying. Escapes, I have to 4, but I do have 4 spaces. Then there's a bug working on it, Ryan. Get out of it, come back in and try again, my friend. I'm sorry. All right. Now, that was the Shield Rush. Now let's go back. Okay. So under Peasant Protection, I'm going to outfit with these glasses. Then what I'm going to say is, hey, find the nearest enemy and find the distance to said enemy. This allows to set up an if-else statement that your hero acts when an enemy gets too close. So if there's an enemy, and as long as if he gets less than 10 meters, attack it, else we're not bothering with him. We're staying by the person. So, find the nearest enemy, get the distance. If that distance is less than 10, attack the enemy. Otherwise, move 40-37. That's where the peasant is. All right? And so that'll protect your peasant. So let's go ahead. There's the code for that. Bear with us, guys. There's a lot to learn. I'm very proud of you. Just keep hanging in there. Perseverance is crucial on it. But this is why you make a good living doing this. Down the road, you find that you have a knack for it. You enjoy this at all, keep pursuing it. Plus, even if you're never a programmer, it teaches you how to think. If you'll go and download PDF, you'll have it. Go on Edmodo and download it. I've got 18 other people that want to look at what I'm showing them there. Okay, buddy? And if you can't, go on Edmodo, go to Lesson 3. It's loaded on there for you, my friend. That's probably the same code I'm using. So there's something you're not doing quite right. When people tell me, oh, I did the same thing. I'm not sure as much in as you might not think, so I gotta believe the code's good. Something's not quite right, my friend. Patience. Figure out what the error message, tell me what error message you're getting. Folks, let me know once you've got Peasant Protection done. And let me get a sense of our pacing here. Let me know what you think. Only about 60%, 70% voted. Please, everybody vote. I can take that screen down. I just want to show you what you get, and then we'll be done on the poll. Excellent. 92, 100% voted. Here we go. Show the poll. Hopefully you see it. I don't see it on my end, but 23% too fast, 8% too slow, 70%, 69% about right. A certain item for Ogre Encampment, I don't think so. Let me go back up and look. You couldn't do the code if you did, by the way. Let me see. No, Ogre Encampment, I'm just going to look real quick, it's basically find the nearest enemy and attack it. Make sure it's this code right here you're using, Aiden. Make sure it's that code right there. All right, now I'm going to go back down here. All right, let me raise your hands once you've got it done, folks. Now I've shared the results. I'm going to pause that and bring up another. Okay, folks, please raise your hand once you've got in Peasant Protection. Try to get this. We're going to be taking a break for a little while on webinars, but keep going on this, folks. I don't think we're going to have time to go on the next one. Keep working on this. I do have a question. I'm putting everybody's hands down now. How many people maybe they struggle and there's some bugs in it, but so I'll say it's not as easy, but more of how many people like Code Combat? Raise your hand if you like Code Combat. Oh, I'm muted. Nice. Folks, we're about almost out of time here. So, and I don't think we're going to be able to go on to Peasant Protection. The next one after it's a little more involved for right now. But anyways, how many people right now, I'm going to put everybody's hands down. How many people right now like Code Combat? Wow, that's pretty strong. I've got almost 70% of you like it, so that's great to see. Okay. Oh, 77% of you find it good. All right, now let me raise you. Put your hands down. How many of you think you've learned some programming this way? Raise your hand. Well, you'd be pretty good about that because you have. 85%. Nice. Well, that's really good to know. All right. All right. Okay, folks. It's getting to be that time here in a minute. So I just want to, you want to go Peasant Protection. We're going to have some time off here next few weeks, for 2 weeks or so. So go ahead and move on. I put up lesson 3 and 4 in the PDFs. Start the duel. Also, get me your checkers. I really need, if you haven't already, submit me your checkers if you want a checker. If you want something else, that's fine too, but we're going to mold and cast checkers. All right, folks. Any other questions? Can you post the code for endangered burrow? Yeah, I'll get that. Did you get my checker? I believe I did. Are you going to work on this next time? Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to lay out. I got to see where we are for the rest of the semester here. Okay. All right, you just got Shield Rush working. Good job, John. All right. So there's nothing to prevent you. I guess what I'm saying, there's nothing to prevent you to work on your own on this for a little bit, guys. How many people would like to pick this up again in 2 weeks? Just raise your hand. How many people say, I'd really like to keep learning some more programming on this? Okay, that's really good to know. Big, okay. All right, then we may just keep going for a while on this then. All right? I think this is a good way to learn programming. I think this is a way you could start to make your own games, honestly, down the road. You know? All right, well, I've got 83% of you saying you want to work on it again when we get back. So I think I'm going to probably have us work on this back. Okay, folks, why don't we just call it? It's now almost 6:30 your time, 7:30 my time. Not really enough time to go on to present 3. I will show you this. We got another 2 minutes, and if you want to start working on this, we'll go on this. On the aberrated defense, you're going to have several nested statements. You're going to have if-then statements within if-then statement. So once an enemy is present, you should check to see if the enemy is close enough to attack. If you can't attack it, then you need to cleave it. So it's kind of a, you start to look at this, you know, you got to look for curly brackets on this bad boy. So can you spot the error with this? If you wrote this bit of code, this wouldn't work very well. And the issue is, what happens if there's no enemy nearby? Well, that's going to return a value of false. And then this is going to say, oh, I want to get the distance to enemy. And it's going to say, the target is null. Does the target even exist? You need to use an if-then statement here. And it needs to be up here. If enemy, then do the rest of this. You need to make sure there's an enemy there. If there's, check to see this is true. Do all this. Otherwise, don't do it. I'm giving you this tip if you work on this on your own. But we'll pick it up from here. And then Munchkin Swarm is going to be the same thing. Coinucopia starts to really pick it up then in difficulty. But you can start getting it where you can set flags down, things will move it. It really gets pretty interesting. All right? You guys are doing I'm telling Mr. Maurer, you guys are doing a great job. You're making Iowa look strong. Good job, folks. Have a great break. I'll probably be still reaching out, watch on Edmodo and stuff. We'll post some things there as well. Okay, everyone? Take care, y'all. As they say in North Carolina, or take care, you guys. All right? Bye-bye. Bye. Jason.